If you are looking for the best Town Hall 11 war attack, then look no further. This video will break down how to use it across a number of different replays so that you know every single aspect. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so diving straight into this, it is the Electrone into LavaLoon. Now, if you have access to a siege machine, this strategy will rip apart bases, and it's all because of this reason. You can send in a battle blimp or a stone slammer into an area of the base with a clone spell in order to take out some very important defenses and create pathing for your Lalo. So let's have a look at this as we have the stone slammer coming in. There is a multi-inferno, there is the enemy queen, and there is also clan castle troops. Every single one of them go down, and you can also see the pathing that has been created. This entire left hand side of the base is gone, so the Lalo will now be able to focus through the opposite side of the base, which is super important. Now, if you do want to see the best Town Hall 11 attack without siege machines, it's in my Town Hall 11 playlist. It looks like this on my YouTube homepage, but I will also have it down in the pinned comment. With any of my videos, the playlists are also in the description. So let's dive into this one. Remember guys, you will see a bunch of different replays with differences in how to use this, so be sure to stick around throughout the video. Now, as the balloons will eventually fall here, you want to ensure that you've got all of your objectives. So looking at it from this point of view, we've taken apart that part of the base we mentioned, which included a multi and the queen. The main thing that is left, eagle artillery. For Town Hall 11, that is your main defense, so you've got to ensure that you can path to it. So whilst the queen is on the bottom taking out the town hall, that's not really the focus. For 3 stars, it's the defenses. So we do have a Lalo portion coming in towards the multi-target inferno at the bottom of the base. Irrespective of what strategy you use, if you are using low HP troops, and what I mean by that is balloons, they will go down quickly to that multi-inferno, so you've got to have it a priority. But notice the lava hound to the left hand side of the base already coming in. Now the reason for that is so that we can direct some of the balloons from this pack to the eagle. Wait until you see it guys, it obviously works really well. Now the difficulty here is that a Tesla farm pops on the left hand side of the base, dragging some of the balloons across. However, we did manage to get a couple of them peel towards the eagle artillery, so all is not lost. However, all of the lava hounds are focused on the defense, the air defense that is, whilst the balloons can slowly move in. Now if you are going to use any spells, you can use a haste spell on the outside of the base. That will ensure that the balloons power through an area and catch up to your lava hounds. But if you do not need to use it, then don't. Use your spells to get to splash damage. So we have a wizard tower at the top. We need to clearly get through this area and down to the next wizard tower. So that is where the haste spells are used. You really don't have to worry about the point defense quite as much with the Lalo. Make sure you get that good spread around the base and make sure you are prioritizing splash damage. So again, I'm going to show you a few different replays. If you like my content, I bring educational but entertaining Clash of Clans content for specific Town Hall levels like this one, but also let's play episodes with me playing the game and some war commentary. So in the end of this one, we have plenty of troops to get the 3-star, but let's move to the next. So the first replay showcased the stone slammer. What about the battle blimp? Now the reason you would use a battle blimp is if it is difficult to path to an area. Remember, the stone slammer is defense targeting. It will only target defenses, whereas the battle blimp will go in the direction of the town hall until you activate it or it gets blown up. So you can really get deeper into the base, and that's what happens here. Classico of Toxic Rabbits is going to use a Sui hero method, try and take down a couple of the defenses, create that pathing we talked about, but the main objective here is the multi-target inferno, and it will go down. The king manages to take out this entire side to direct the queen, being a ranged troop, in towards that multi-target inferno. So down that goes, and we also get a little bit more from that. Then we move towards the center of the base in terms of what we need. The Archer Queen. Remember, for a LavaLoon attack, she wants to be one of the main focuses. If you can take her down with the initial push, with the clone spell portion, then you don't have to worry about her. You can freely move your LavaLoon around the base a lot easier. But why not just get the Queen? Why not get huge value in that of the other multi-inferno? That's what we're doing. Look, Battle Blimp coming in. The Queen might look a little bit far away. However, she's going to walk up into this region as soon as our troops pop, look. So as long as we have good spread on the balloons, and look at how much of a spread we get. They move everywhere. And that's because we overlapped the clone spells. You might have seen that. Rewind real quick if you missed it. But the clone spells were slightly offset. That protects the Electro Dragon that's in the middle, but the E-Drag needs to be close enough to the Queen. So let's take a look at this. The E-Drag will move across towards that Queen once it is ready, and everything else goes down in that area. With the Rage spell, it only needs one shot. One shot is all it needs, and down she goes. However, the freeze was also used because you've got to recognize that if the E-Drag is getting targeted and is going to go down, you might have to freeze that area. Now, we have a couple of trailing defenses to the right-hand side. However, for the most part, we have thinned out the base to pretty much 50% of it. We know now that balloons being defense targeting troops will just move straight through this portion. And also take note, guys, that we do have air defense. That means we can pin lava hounds onto them, and we know that the balloons are going to be safe. So everything pretty much lined up perfectly for the LavaLoon. Why come in from this 10 o'clock area? Well, the main reason is the Eagle Artillery that just went down. Again, the Eagle Artillery is your main defense at Town Hall 11, so you've got to try and get it down. The Sweeper is obviously not really an issue coming in from either angle, but despite 3 Wizard Towers on the back end, the Eagle you always want to get down. We still have the Grand Warden's ability, so that can be used alongside the haste spells on the back end, and a couple of trailing loons that you see coming in as well. So a really good attack here by Classico of Toxic Rabbits. And remember, if you do want to join any of the clans that I cover, you can join my Discord server. It's linked down in the description of this video, and that's where you will see information about all of the clans I cover and what their requirements are. But another beautiful attack, certainly wiped out the base easily in this case. And one thing I didn't mention in the first attack is some cleanup minions. You always want to ensure that wherever your LavaLoon is pathing, you can clean up the base. You do not want a time fail because you took out the defenses but failed to take out the rest of the base. Now let's continue to break this down in a few different replays so you know exactly how to get 3 stars using the Electrone LavaLoon. I feel like this replay pulls everything we've talked about together very nicely, so you know everything about the Electrone LavaLoon. Now, in the first replay, I talked about the Stone Slammer, then the Battle Blimp if you wanted to get deeper into the base, but you can still do that with the Stone Slammer, and we'll show you it right now. So Toxic Scotty starts with the King towards the left-hand side of the base. Now, the reason he is doing this is to take out a lot of the defenses on this side. So basically, the defenses to the left of the base here, if they go down, it means when the LavaLoon comes in, they can get onto the Expos, which is obviously the main target. If the defenses on the left weren't down, because balloons are defense targeting, they would naturally be drawn around here, especially with a Sweeper protecting this little compartment as well. So that's the idea of the Sui King, whereas down to the bottom we use the Sui Queen. Now that aims to set up for the Stone Slammer getting that little bit deeper into the base. So what we are aiming for, remember we talked about how the enemy Queen was important and the Eagle Artillery, and notice how this area has both of them and it's very clumped together. Huge value for the Electro Dragon. So basically, if we can get the clone into this area, the balloons can easily take down the defenses and the E-Drag can strike onto the Queen as well. And also notice that we have a couple of high HP buildings here, which is also good for an E-Drag because you can get good chain value through that. So the Archer Queen will come behind the Ice Golem. I always like the use of the Ice Golem if it makes sense. If you're just using the Queen, notice how it just protects her for so much longer and also freezes some of these defenses as well to just let her get so much more value. Obviously, we have some other troops helping to force her into this area, but as long as we get the defenses on the outside, and again, similar to what we talked about with the king over there, we can then break the funnel of defenses and make sure the stone slammer comes into the base. So unfortunately, we miss the wizard tower, but it's not the end of the world. You always want to make sure that your stone slammer is going in the direction you want though. So notice how 2 balloons down to the bottom here are used, and that means that we know the stone slammer will come straight towards the air defense. You can see where they target, there's a little indicator, and that allows you to just test the pathing, and in comes the stone slammer. Now again, watch the value that we get. Don't pop it straight away if you don't need to. Let it do some damage. That's the benefit of the stone slammer. It acts as one giant balloon and will crush defenses underneath it and then move exactly the same as a balloon to the defenses. It's not like the battle blimp that flies directly to the town hall. So we know after the air defense it's just going to move to the eagle. And again, if we can get that clone right in the middle of this pack, that's where we will get the best value. So as the balloon comes forward, we then drop the clone spell. That's an important point as well, guys. Do not drop your clone early and then mean that you miss it. Make sure you drop it when you know what's happening. So if we zoom in into this area, look at the spread of the balloons. They're taking out that area very nicely. The E-Drag is protected to take down the queen easy. As the E-Drag locks onto the queen, she goes down. The E-Drag moves forward. It's under rage and can get even better value. Look at that through the clan castle. But this is an important note as well that I haven't mentioned so far. Once you've got your value, once your pathing is created, start the Lalo. The E-Drag is still up here. But if we were not to start the Lalo, we're missing out on valuable time, which means that obviously you're more likely to time fail, but also you might be able to tank some of the defenses with the E-Drag to help the Lalo. So let's take a look at that. The Expo is actually locked onto the E-Drag. Therefore, we get much better value with the troops coming through. So make sure to overlap your troop phases when it makes sense. Now, the good thing is that Toxic Scotty recognized the archer tower on the outside. The king did not get, so a couple of loons to trail onto that to force the main pack into this thick area with the defenses. Exactly why the Sui King was used. So in they come, and again, what you want to do is just surgically deploy around the base. So we have another Lalo coming in from the top to hit that multi, and actually the E-Drag, look, got so much value to the right hand side of the base that we took out the second multi-target Inferno. So that is how effective this strategy is. Look at all of the loons left. Lava Hounds still intact here, and they can crush. Now guys, a bit of a disclaimer, this is very difficult. This attack strategy is very difficult. So you will have to practice. It won't come easy. And if you do want to know the best Town Hall 11 attack without the siege machine, I'm going to link it on your screen in a second. Grand Warden's ability swagged here as well, by the way. Amazing stuff. Well done, Toxic Scotty. If you do want to know that best attack without siege machines, I'm going to link it right here. I'd highly recommend checking that out. It's a bit more user-friendly, might be a bit easier than this one, but this one is certainly quality, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, peace out.